We are live. We are live.
Hi, good morning, afternoonish.
Depending on where you at. It's could be late afternoon, could be evening, could be early morning.
It could be whatever you want it to be. Hi,
Yep.
everybody. Welcome to Cost Talk Live. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, these eyelashes are so big. It feels so weird.
Are those the same ones you wore at Phoenix?
Yeah, I just cut the inside of them so they were easier to wear this time.
Aha.
The eyelashes changed the shape of my eyes so much. It's really weird.
It does. Yeah, that's why it's like sometimes because I get, lash extensions and I'm like, I don't want them too thick because my eyes are already like Asian-y,
Yeah.
so the thicker,
Yeah, and
they
I
go.
don't do anything to change the shape of my eye, but put the eyelash on, and all of a sudden I'm like, that's weird.
Ah.
So hi everybody, we are back from Fan Fusion. I was absent from that stream because I was running the youth contest next door while you guys were all talking to one another, or rather getting the kiddos signed up. They had a lot of fun. It was really cool. Today we're just going to be talking about our experiences at Fan Fusion, what we think makes a good convention, what makes a convention difficult to attend, and kind of things that you should look out for when you're attending conventions that have more than, I would say, once a convention gets over, I'd say between 35 and 40,000 people is when there are a lot of shifts in what you should consider when you're attending. So we're just kind of going to go through our experience, go through recommendations of what to do if you're traveling to a convention with or without cosplay, what to do if it's local, and just kind of go through our recommendations and advice so that hopefully whatever larger event you go to, you don't suffer some of our pitfalls.
Oh, did you want to start with intro?
So, yeah. My name's Thermo Cosplay. I haven't done this in a while. My brain's a little dead. I started cosplaying in 2014, so I'm almost at my 10-year mark, which is really exciting. And as of right now, the conventions I have planned to attend are Game On Expo and might go for like a day for Tucson Comic Con, and then I'll have an important announcement at the end of this because I just got a contract for something.
Whoa.
But I'll say it at the end.
Hi, guys. Hi, Allison. Thanks for joining us from Facebook. So I did catch the con crud. That's why I look the way I do. That's why my room still looks the way it does. But I had a great experience. I am Jinx Cosplay. I've been cosplaying since 2001. And you talked about what event you're going to?
I just popped it in because I knew you were doing stuff. So I was trying to kill some time for you.
Oh, okay. Now, CTL will be present at Game On Expo. And then I
can only go Saturday and Sunday because I'm going to be doing training during that time.
Right. And then I don't know if I'm going to attend Tucson or Sabo. And then we'll be back for Uwu. I'm trying to take it a little easier this year on events, especially because I have a full-time job that I started at the end of last year, so it's changed things. So I apologize if I'm not had not put enough effort in like Sam did.
No, this is the thing. So during Fan Fusion, I accidentally, so these were glued to my head, and I hit my head against a wall and like snapped them in half. So they're just like tucked under my wig right now.
You hit your head against the wall? What were
I was like leaning forward in the bathroom stall, and I didn't realize and I managed to get it kind of stay on, but by the time I got to the hotel, it was like,
Sam, you are something very, very special.
I actually have these like tucked under my wig, but I figured out how to fix it. I'm just gonna take another piece of friendly plastic and put them back onto it, and then I'm gonna tuck it underneath the wig and cut a tiny little hole in the lace so that it can just feed through. And I don't and I'll reinforce it with like the Cosbond black reinforcer. But then that way, all I have to do is slide the antenna through every time, and I don't have to worry about them because right now it's not completely even because I just sort of slid it in, but it'll be even once I fix it. And it was like, okay, I I can have some things glued to my head, but apparently I can't have antenna glued to my head because I just am not good with like my space. Whereas if it was under a wig and I bumped something, it would just lift up a little bit and that would be okay.
I tend to notice a lot of my costumes, I wear headpieces as well, but they go wide.
I know you smacked so many people that like you hit me in the face. It was funny. I was like,
with my bat wings. I didn't even know. So
I was
because
right behind you because you got startled when I was like, hey Jess, you're like, oh, and you're like, I was like, oh.
but the thing is like I attach them with magnets to my wigs so they don't move unless like obviously like
Well,
they
this is I'm trying to make it look like it's coming out of my skin. So if I put it
yeah.
really close to the lace front edge and I just feed it through, it's gonna look like it's coming out of the skin. And then
No,
I'll use
that's
a little bit of
fair.
fake plastic here to make it look like it's a part of the.
I was just saying like because I hit so many things, like it's actually
Mhm.
good that I have a magnet.
Yeah.
I barely noticed that I hit anything, and then of course if it hits a wall or something that's like stronger than it'll knock
Mhm.
off. But I can move my head around, and it only fell off once. Oh, I know, because that fly flew into my face. Or remember
Yep.
we were walking down the street and a bug flew right into my eyeball, and I was like, "Wah!" And I
Yeah.
like whiplashed. That was
It was
when
funny.
my headband came off, but it was
Yep.
weird. So
So that's one of the woes of going to a con. If you've got things attached to your head or your body that are either wide or project, my joke is like unless you get used to it, like put like a little flag, like little symbol. I might run into you. Watch out. Just be very aware. Like you'll get used to it the more you wear a costume. I haven't done mantis in so long that I forgot the
yeah.
reason why I didn't make the antenna in the front again. And I did. When I remade these, they're working really well, and I love the little white clear. But it just
Do you,
yeah, I ran
do you
into
want
the
to
bathroom stall twice that day, and the second time I broke it.
So do you want to go down chronologically each day and then we can kind of do like a whole thing afterwards of how we, went about it?
Yeah. Yeah, so on the first day of con, I think we can actually show you guys the website too. I think it's still up, so we can kinda
Oh
give you
yeah,
an idea of just
let's
how
go ahead and do
much
that.
programming Phoenix Fan Fusion has. So conventions that usually have anything over 30,000 people start moving from, like, a 10 panel a day model to usually 50, 60, 100 panels a day because of the amount of submissions and activity they get from different events. So if you attended Fan Fusion, I'll just share their website, but I can show you. Oh, hang on a second. I got to open the programming. I forgot that's like a separate. There we
Open
go.
the
Okay.
programming.
So on day one was.
Wait, do you want to share it? You can share it.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Oh,
It's
got
just
it.
taking a moment. Yeah, it just took a moment.
Woo.
So on day one, if you go to their membership area, there's like a whole big list of programming. You can also find it on their app. And I would go to the costuming and cosplay area. So just costuming and cosplay alone, this is how much they had going on in that day. Like over 20 panels just with costuming and cosplay alone. And 3 of those I was on. So, if you are interested in any of the information for these panels, let me know. I could probably send you a lot. I've already sent people lists of body makeup stuff. Um, and we actually did have ASL on our 2 panels, which was really nice. I appreciate that the con provided that. I just had to learn to speak slower because, oh goodness gracious, I forgot how fast I speak. But during Friday, day 1, so if you're going to attend a convention and say you're either gonna compete in a costume contest or there's special events that you wanna go to, but you wanna be a panelist, I always recommend doing your panels on the day where you don't have those special events. Special events can be really taxing, and typically that's the day where you're probably going to wear your best or heaviest or most complicated costume. So I always recommend doing panels on the days where you don't have a large special event. So on Friday, I had 3 panels. I did the cosplay bod, faking unrealistic body types. Then we did the cosplayer safety panel where we talked about how to be safe at con, how you're responsible for your safety, like what elements of your safety you're responsible for, what elements the convention's responsible for, what elements the police are responsible for, and so on and so forth. And we had a lot of interaction, a lot of questions there. So that would ended up being really good. And then at 7:30 at night, I was joined by or rather, I joined Mission Control Photography, Amber Bright Props, Metamateria, and Chimera Creations to talk about cosplay body painting 101. And that room was almost completely full. We had a lot of people asking questions. I will say, if it's the first day of a con and you are the first panel of the day or you're within the first 3 to 4 hours of the day, you will see a lower attendance. most people don't go to the first day of a con. But the people that do attend the panels are typically very active and ask a lot of questions. So don't be surprised if you have a smaller group of people, but they're asking more questions than your large group does. I feel like that's pretty normal, and that's kind of
Yeah,
what happened at Fan Fusion.
and usually like the first day or any days that happen on a con during the week, people are less likely to take off of work. So any things that you do on Fridays are always going to be a lot less filled than on Saturday or Sunday. Typically Saturdays are the busiest day.
Yeah, and
People
I
are going
mean,
to buy.
Saturdays are good for panels, but understand that, it is I mean, the largest panel audience I've ever had was, I believe it was at Emerald City Comic Con, the first time I ever did my retro anime panel, and they had a ballroom, and it was supposed to be able to fit 800 people, and it was 3/4 full, so it probably
Was
had
that the
close
one
to
I did with you, or
uh,
you did one before?
one before, I don't think you were on that one.
Okay, because the one that I did with you this past year was packed as well. There were
Yeah,
people.
that one was probably 150, 200 people. That was a half a ballroom, and that was full, like, there was no
Yeah,
more room.
and people were
And
standing
then
in the back, and
yeah,
we were
this
like,
was the old convention center when they used to use the
mm,
TCC building, and I
yes,
think we had, like, 600 people in it, and it was, like, the last day of the con too, and I didn't think anyone was gonna show up, and, like, everybody showed up.
they don't want it to end.
And it
That's
was
why.
really hard because there were so many questions afterwards, but the security was coming up and telling us that we needed to leave and clear the rooms, and it was like,
Oh, that's
sometimes it's
sad.
hard on doing a convention on the big day because you want to interact with whomever is, like, doing a panel on the big day of the convention, you wanna interact with whoever's there,
Mhm.
but they're trying to clear the rooms to make sure the next presenter can come or the convention's closing, and so it's I kind of like it on the days where there's less people because at least I get to still interact with individuals who have questions. So, okay, guys, let's show you guys some pictures. Do you want me to share I think I've got the link.
I have the link. I was kind of downloading them, but I'll just go through because I was sharing and downloading, so I can just go through
I don't think
these
you need to
photos.
download them. I think you could just open
Yeah,
them.
I'll open. You want to do it, or you want me to do it?
I don't mind doing it. I mean, my
Okay.
internet's pretty fast. I could do it that way. So let me just open up the link real fast because I don't know that I actually saved it, but I have it
So
right here.
Matt, who is now officially Insomnia Matt, he was kind of our resident like paparazzi. So he was taking a lot of photos of not only the Cost Talk team, but also of the con in general. So if you guys weren't aware, Cost Talk Live was not present at Phoenix Fan Fusion. This wasn't because of any drama or anything. It just was logistics.
Did he put it
Um,
in did he put it in
Go
this?
to shared. Go to your Google and then just go to shared with me. It should pop up
Yeah,
there.
sometimes it works out, but sometimes it doesn't for me. I'll try. Let me go.
Mm.
I'll be back.
So
I'll be back.
yeah, so I actually had I was a cosplay guest at Phoenix Fan Fusion, and they did want Cost Talk Live to reappear as well, but I was like, whoa, that's too much because I'm a huge part of Cost Talk Live. So we kind of just put Cost Talk Live under the umbrella of me, where my team was president. They're not presidents. Our team was
President.
president of cosplay. Our team was present at my booth during different times. They were helping me with stuff, and we did panels as well. I think while Sam gets that linked up, I can kind of talk quickly about my experience as a guest.
I found it. Okay, I'm just opening.
While I did enjoy it immensely, and I got to see more of the con than I did when Cost Talk Live was just a guest, I still missed a lot of people that came by because I was doing a bunch of other stuff. And thank you guys for everyone that came by to say hi. And I apologize if I wasn't there when you said hi. I really was like tried to be at my booth as much as possible. But what I enjoy the most is like the hosting, the interacting with crowds and people. So I think next year, I would love to see if we could get Cost Talk Live as a guest instead of just me. Which I mean, I'm grateful I was a guest. It was a great experience. But Cost Talk Live I think has a lot to offer the cosplay community in a lot of different ways. Anyway, that's just some speculation, some idea. And then, yes, I did have 2 panels. We did cosplayer safety, and then we streamed live on Sunday. If you guys saw us, if you didn't, it's still on our Facebook and YouTube.
Yep.
And then I hosted the masquerade on Saturday night, which was a blast. It was my favorite thing of the whole weekend, but it did tire me out a lot.
And then I found your link. Isn't there one that Matt sent as well? There's Matt's. I found it. Okay. All right, I got them both open. Yay, I got Friday. Okay. Oh, he didn't do his well, he kind of I feel like the pictures are wrong.
He did them in a funny way, right? It's like
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, part 2, Sunday, Saturday, masquerade, Sunday. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like a little lost with the photos, but that's okay. I'm trying to find all the Friday ones.
Friday and then Friday, Saturday, part 2. You got to teach him how to upload pictures and stuff.
Yeah, here we go. This is perfect. Share.
Share.
Okay.
So if you guys
You
have
guys
any
can...
questions about anything relating to cons, Phoenix Fan Fusion, our experience, whatever, throw them in the chat. We will answer them as we go. Oh, there's my
look, it's your butt.
There's my booty. Hey, they got to pay for that. Just kidding. It's free on my Instagram.
Oh, sorry. And then I didn't know what was happening, and he scared me. This is some people from our panel.
Yeah.
That's Chris. And that's my butt. And that's all of our butts. But yeah, I feel like Friday was like the chance we had to like interact with people more.
Yeah, my booth was right next to Wild Bill's, which was actually it was great. Like people are like, "Oh, it must be so busy." I'm like, "No, because people come and stop and look at my stuff." So that wasn't bad. We didn't have any major problems being right next to Wild Bill's. It was just constantly busy.
Oh, I loved like when we saw it was so great. Like,
oh, nice. There were a lot of great costumes. So on Friday, not as many costumes. Saturday, everybody brings their A game. There were so many great costumes on Saturday. Lots of Bowsettes. Actually, I was kind of glad I didn't wear Bowsette because
there were a lot of Bowsettes, a lot of Bowsers, a lot of Marios.
I mean, I love seeing them. I love seeing them all. Don't get me wrong. That's Magic and Mischief as Vanessa and Eric. And their little baby was Ariel. So
that's Sky Kicker.
Yep. For here, I think that was at Heroes United.
Skies.
Yay. So cute.
And then the impressive Ryan K display.
Yeah, she always has beautiful display up. That's cosplaying Marquez as Gengar and Ghastly. Or Haunter and Ghastly, not Gengar.
Yep. Haunter, I was like, Gengar. Where's Gengar?
I like Gengar. That was Hale, the widow, as
Lady
as
Demetrius
on stilts. Yeah. Well,
and then look, it's you.
That's me. Yay! Touching lasers because I'm badass.
Why were you touching lasers?
I don't know. I forgot what they were.
I forgot to sit on that bike. That's one thing I intended to do was sit on the land speeder, and I totally forgot.
Oh, I managed to sit on it once, and then I got too busy.
Super sad that I never actually went back because I wanted to sit on the land speeder as Safina, and I forgot.
Oh, Saturday was so busy.
I know.
So busy.
But the thing about Fan Fusion, if you've never been, so when you enter, there's a whole entire basement, and on the basement, it's huge. It spans 2 full buildings. So there's the north building that is, I believe, 3 or 4 stories tall, and then there's the west building that's the same height. In the north building, they use the basement, first and second floors, and then the west building, they use the basement up to the 3rd floor. And the basement spans the underbelly of the north building and the west building. So it goes completely under the street too. And it's huge. So when you enter from the north building, you go to the main escalators right off of the main entrance and you head down. If you go in and you turn right, all the way at the end is a ton. It's the cosplay guests. It's all the cosplay charity groups. It's all the cosplay costume groups. It's the Arizona Brick Association. It's big. Like honestly, the cosplay area and the group area is the size of most smaller cons. So it's huge. Like if you've been to Game On Expo, half of Game On Expo would be filled with what all just the cosplay related stuff from Fan Fusion.
Although like I always have to refer back to post-pandemic or pre-pandemic because last year I didn't go on the floor at all. I was up on the 2nd floor the whole time. Mm-hmm. So I actually felt like there were less vendors, I guess, because like half the floor was vendors and the other half was like autographs and cosplay groups. So I mean, not that it mattered. I mean, I only bought one thing, and it was my Cloud's Buster sword. That's all that was important to me. But it just felt like there were less vendors, although someone did make a good point that there were a bunch of vendors in the lobby that I didn't get to see.
Yeah, there were more lenders. This is the thing. I'm used to vendors not being in the lobby, but this time they were. I kind of wonder if the reason they did that was because they split the Hall of Heroes. So one side of the Hall of Heroes is cosplay groups, cosplay guests, and some of the hobbyist groups and charities. And then the opposite end of the exhibitor hall was the secondary Hall of Heroes, and that was the celebrity Hall of Heroes. And that one, I think the reason that they left that area so open, because I'm used to there being a lot of vendors over there, is because the lines were getting so bad for people to meet celebrities and voice actors for the autograph sessions. And they doubled the space for autographs. That I think that's the reason why they moved some people into the lobby this year.
So they didn't have them in the lobby last year?
They'd won. There's always been this one group, but
it's
no,
like
there's a lot more in there this year.
Isn't it? Bookman's is usually outside in the lobby.
Yeah, but that's just Bookman's. There were a lot more. There were like 12 different vendors there this year.
Right. Prue says I still spent too much money. Who did you go? If you guys saw like celebs, throw them in the chat. Like what was your favorite purchase? Again, like I didn't get to see the floor like in depth.
I didn't spend a lot of money this year. I think that's just because
too busy.
Like, yeah.
You're too busy to spend money. Plus, like they give guests like access to the green room, so I had like food and snacks. So I actually didn't. I probably only spent like.
It saved a lot of money having that green room and being able to get food for everybody at the table.
Less than $50 the whole weekend on food, like coffee and whatever and snacks. And then I was too busy. Like anytime I did walk around the floor, it was usually just as far as like the Hall of Heroes and back. I couldn't really go much further, or I would spend too much time because I would see people I know chatting, and I'm like, oh crap, I got to get back to my booth. So the last day, and I apologize, a lot of people came by the last day to see me, and I was like, I really just want to see the floor. So we went, me, Sam, and Lena went around. Lena knew what she wanted to buy, and I knew what I wanted to buy, and I was like, I think we bought swords at the same place. So
yeah, and I didn't really have any plans to buy anything until I saw the Cosplay Pros, and they had foam clay, and I was like, yeah, I'm almost out of foam clay, and they had a new silicone mold. I love silicone molds. So like yeah. And then obviously Jess was kind enough to let me borrow her Moana wig and turn it into a Luisa wig. But I think we both underestimated that all of the Moana hair was on the top of my head as a bun. Ended up weighing like 3.5, 4 pounds. And near the end of the day, my neck hurt so bad that I was like, I need a hat, like a little cheap bucket hat.
I forget because like all that hair is usually down.
When it's down, it's manageable because it's resting on your shoulders,
but it makes me
all
hot.
on my neck.
Yeah, for me, it like increases my temperature.
Well, the heat didn't bother me. It was just, it was getting so heavy.
Yeah. So I had put that on. So I was going to style it before him, but I'm like, Sam's head is really small. It is.
And it's a good thing you did, because we had to wrap so much hair around my head to make it like fit right, because my head is so small.
That's what I was thinking, because when I started styling it, I'm like, I can't do this. Like I got to do it on her head. So I actually put on her head. I made like 2 ponytails. Anyway, I don't want to we were supposed to talk by day, so we're all out of order. So we'll talk about it later.
But yeah, we'll go back to Friday. Friday was a really nice day. It was really calm, really quiet. If you're unfamiliar with the convention space and you're able to take work off and go on the first weekday, because usually cons that are larger that have the 40,000 or more are 3 to 4 days, and they typically include 1 or 2 weekdays. And it's very good. I recommend going to a convention space on the weekday for first or second day of the con, because it gives you the time to figure out how to navigate the space before it becomes incredibly crowded on the weekend. And so Friday was really calm, really nice. I would say every day was really long. I think we ended up getting to the convention a little before 10 a.m. on Friday, and we stayed there. I mean, I stayed there until almost.
You had a panel after.
Yeah, my panel was at 7:30, and I stayed there until almost 9 o'clock. And then so the thing with these contacts that I'm wearing, this is one thing you wouldn't think about what you're wearing at the con. So the mini scleras have to be taken off every 6 to 8 hours, and your eyes have to be allowed time to breathe for at least 30 minutes minimum. And I had already gone back to the hotel once that day to take my contacts out, let my eyes breathe, and put them back in. Well, by the end of that panel, I was about to hit that. I was at the 8-hour mark, and my right eye was tearing up, and I was like, guys, I gotta go. I'm sorry. I message me on my website or Instagram, but I have to go. And
You
I was
have
like
to know your
messaging
limit
Jinx
when you're.
and Insomnimat saying, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm heading. They
Mhm.
thought that someone was with me, but I was alone. And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm okay. Our hotel's close. But that's one thing you want to think about. If, for instance, you have a panel or event that you want to go to or present at that is later in the evening and you don't have anybody with you, you can talk to the convention and you can ask for like an escort to certain places. And sometimes they'll accommodate you, especially if you have a guest badge, they usually will accommodate you. But if you don't, they'll at least walk you to wherever the last exit zone is for the convention center, which the last exit zone for the convention center was like less than a 5-minute walk from my hotel. So I felt comfortable doing that.
Yeah, we were pretty close. Like our favorite spot now is the AC Marriott. Now that the Arizona Center is done with construction, so that's really good. I'm trying to find a picture I took with Hale. Why are all my pictures out of order? So on Friday,
You want me to? I can take a look. I have. Let me see if I can pop
I'm looking
this
at it now. On Friday, I did Ada Wong from the Resident Evil 4 remake, and I spent some time over at the AZ Hive booth. So Sam and I are both members of the AZ Hive.
We also, this is day one, just to give you an idea.
That's day zero.
That's
day
day zero. Correction. That's day zero. Us after setting up the booth and becoming exhausted, and then me being a goofball. All of us being goofballs.
And then we couldn't even get to that sign again because it was like.
Here's a perfect sign of what a Saturday looks like. That's that's pretty normal amount of people.
Yeah.
And
You're
this
in
is
mine.
huge.
Okay. Yeah. That's
and that's not even inside the exhibit hall. That's just people trying to get into it.
That's the lobby of the lower level. So that's before they open the doors. And then those were some of the vendors that were outside in the lobby. Usually it's only Bookman's or only one vendor, but they had like the Panda Gallery there, and a couple other vendors there.
Oh, look, it's me getting ready on Saturday.
I don't know where the picture is of me and Hale. I don't know. Maybe I don't have it in here. But there's a picture of me and Hale as Lady D on stilts. And so I was Ada. And then Sam and I are members of AZ Hive, which is a nonprofit cosplay group that supports animal shelter, a local animal shelter. Mm-hmm. So I went over and spent some time with them. They're always good people. Chris brought me donuts. So Chris is the Wesker, the leader of the local chapter. And I've been like craving donuts because I've been sick. And he's like, hey, if you Venmo me some, I'll grab some. And he totally did. Woohoo! I got donuts. I already ate 3 of them. So that was a lot of fun. It was chill Friday. And yeah, not much going on for me. I was like, I'll be at the booth. I have to do these panels. And then at 7, we were like, I was tired, done. We went back to the hotel. I can't even remember what me and Matt did that night. Oh, we just ordered in food and waited for you to get back. It was like so dead.
Yeah, because you guys ate without me. Because you got confused on when I was going to come back. And it's
well,
okay.
Matt thought you were done.
They fed me like a little peanut butter and jelly slickable, and they gave me crackers and they tucked me in.
Yeah, Matt thought that you were done at 7:30, but your panel started at 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
So Victoria says, felt like the amount of people this year wasn't close to last year. But it certainly was a lot. Saturday was definitely busy. I saw lots of Saturday only badges, especially because the prices went up this year. I know a lot of people had some conflicts with the pricing. So that was Friday night. Saturday was, for me, the most anxiety-inducing day because I had so much to do and I had to host the masquerade later that night. So I actually shut my booth down in the middle of the day. And people are like, well, why didn't you have, people manning it? I was like, I did not feel right having people man a booth while I was having a break, like for the rest of the day. So I just closed it. I approved it with the staff. I was like, look, I gotta be, because if you guys aren't aware, like being a guest at a con or even just having a booth, regardless if you're a guest or not, you have to be on it all the time. Like if you're just a vendor and you're selling stuff, that's different because you're working more like retail. But if you're a cosplay group or a guest, Like, you have to have that face on for the crowd at all times.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of people came by to see me. So I was having a lot of conversations. And at the masquerade, like, Sam does have the harder job in terms of like judging, but I feel like I had an exhausting job of being on it. So we were on stage in front of the audience, and we only had like a minute or less time between each contestant. So I was like, I know I'm going to be tired. And I was so tired. So I made sure I had a break. Sam, I think you guys had kind of a break where you went and did photos and did whatever you wanted. So you weren't like pressured to be on a lot too. So for
Photos for
Saturday,
what?
that you weren't like when I went back to the hotel, you guys went and did photos and stuff on Saturday? No? I think you did. No?
No.
Well,
When you went back to the hotel after we ate,
mm-hmm.
I went and I didn't do photos. We went back to the hotel with you for a brief bit. And then
Oh yeah.
because I was having one thing, as I was wearing a bald cap for the first time, and it's a vinyl bald cap, and I was overheating and not realizing it. Matt recognized it first. When
Right, yes.
I get uncomfortable or I start experiencing pain or overheat, I go quiet. Because it's me just focusing on my body and calm, like it's basically like a meditation state. And I just naturally do this. And he noticed it first. And he's like, why don't we all go back to the hotel? Maybe we should sit down and rest for a little bit. And
true. Because I remember that Lena was in Mrs. Crawley and she came out of it.
Yeah, after that, we were there for like a half hour, an hour, and then we, on the way back, while we were walking back to the con, we just stopped a couple places to take funny videos of her like rolling her eyeball across places.
Oh my god, that's what it was. Because I think later I had to change.
And we were just doing it as we were walking back. Just stop rolling eyeball, stop rolling eyeball, stop rolling eyeball.
Hannah says, "Hello, y'all." Hannah is one half of Magic and Mischief.
But we did get back to the convention, I think, a little bit before you did. And there's where you can see the hole where I don't usually wear fake nails, and I was wearing fake nails that weekend, and I punched a hole in the back of my bald cap with my nails. And so we just glued it to my hair and put,
By the time I woke up that morning, she already had that on her head. And I was like, what did I
And that's the first time I've ever done one. So there's a little bit of wrinkling in the back, but I think it was done pretty well for my first time. Other than me punching a hole behind the ear.
Well, plus that was all covered by the hood anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, the hood was so big you couldn't see behind my ears.
Makaria Drake is in there somewhere. She's like right there. So that was a lot of fun. Getting ready that morning.
Yeah, I wore that. I had that bald cap on from 8 a.m. until midnight. Maybe 12:30 a.m. because I think it took me a little while. No, it was midnight because it was right before we walked away. That before we even went back to the hotel, at the end of the masquerade, Chris, who was the other MC, was like, are you gonna take it off here? And I was like, I can. Like, I totally can. I punched a hole in it, so I can't reuse it. And so we filmed me ripping the bald cap off. It was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh. Yep. There's Hannah and Jake. There's a video. Oh, the video of us walking. I don't know where I put that one.
Oh, I know where it is. I have it. You want me to turn it off?
That's a really good view.
Stop sharing and I can share it.
No, you stop sharing.
You stop sharing. We're just being sassy, guys, because we're tired.
I'm so tired.
All right, so you're talking about the one we were walking down the...
oh, there it is.
This one, right?
Yeah. So that one.
This is before the bee or whatever it was assaulted you. Yeah,
so Sam, like, from there, it just looks so natural that you have like a bald head.
That I'm bald.
Yeah.
I've been bald my entire life.
What a crazy...
I took a picture of me when I was like not paying attention. I was eating.
Yeah. See, like, it looked pretty good. So we went and ate at the Renaissance. That's another one of our secrets. It's not really a secret if I'm telling the world, but yeah, we went and ate at the Renaissance. That was a lot of... Do that the selfie with me and you. Me as Morgan up left. Yeah. You look so cleverly evil.
Honestly, being bald made it a lot easier to look evil.
Yeah, and then we actually had a nice trick with your hood because it kept like... What was it doing? Your hood?
It was just because the wind would catch it and it would blow it back and it would just rest funny on my shoulders.
So we took some Gorilla Tape and we like rolled it so that it would move a little bit.
And I'm just gonna sew in a little patch for a magnet, and I'm gonna put a washer underneath the back of my head every time, like just bobby pin a washer to the back. Because or probably not bobby pin, I might just braid my hair into it because I don't want to have any potential, like a bobby pin might poke a hole in the bald cap.
Right.
But I could probably do those clips because those clips wouldn't, because they don't have anything that pops out.
So yeah, it looked really good. Like people were just taken aback by it, I think. Look at we're all like, hey, that's rated R for Ray. We look so happy, and you're like, what the heck am I doing here? Wrong picture. Like you just look like that in every picture. There's another picture somewhere where there's like a picture of my booth, and I'm like caught off guard, and you're like creeping over it.
It was that was a funny picture. Oh my
It
goodness!
was a completely like random one.
Yeah, there's like a bunch of random ones where like I'm just creeping on your booth, and it's really funny. I think it was in the ones that Matt took. I'll have to open it right. I think it was in this one. I'm scrolling down the map. There were so many on, because there were just so many things on Saturday that we all just we went wild on Saturday. Oh my goodness, we did.
It was surprising.
Oh, there it is. I found it. This is funny. So these are the funny experiences you have at a convention where you're just like, woo. And this is just
yeah. I saw that picture. I'm like, what the heck?
She looks so good. And then look at that. Look, it's Hannah.
Who's that?
Oh my gosh, it was so funny.
Oh, there's cosplay Tom and Tigressness.
Yep.
They're my fave cosplay couple. Oh, look at them. So good, so good.
They're so awesome. Apparently you were making out with Mrs. Crowley's eyeball.
And then Choco's like, what? Are you going to share?
And this, oh, I love this.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
It's so great.
When that guy walked up, Lita's like,
oh, he looks so much like John Hammond.
It's so cute.
That's a thing too when you go to conventions is sometimes you just find like the best people, and you get to have experiences that you may not have necessarily expected, right? It's so much fun.
Absolutely.
And you can just be your goofy self because everyone else is going to be goofy too. You don't really, there's all this thing about like, how am I going to look in public at con? Nobody cares.
Wait, like, what folder is this? Is this Matt's?
This is Matt's folder.
Oh, there's some pictures in there that I'm like, I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Matt, you labeled your pictures weird.
Hey, oh, it's my brother and I. He got a picture.
Oh, it's your baby bro. And you know what's one of the funniest phenomenons about conventions, okay, and cosplayers is you'll see cosplayers and you won't know that you know them. Because I saw Ben's Mando earlier. Wait, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And then I'm like, oh shit, that was Ben. You know?
That was my brother.
So you'll
and then this is like the judging area where we're starting to get ready for we're prepping for judging.
Let's move into Saturday night, right?
So this is moving to Saturday. So these were all the judges. We've got Cosplay Choco, Ambrose Guys, myself, Sparkinson Cosplay, and Heartless Aquarius.
And this was all in the green room. So all the cosplayers had to be like there and ready at like 4 or 5 or something. We're like super early. I showed up a little bit later. And so I was there kind of helping. And so we can kind of talk about like the process of how, like, what we can share about being a judge and being a host. So being a host, both of us have a lot of pre-work to do before the event. Myself, Chris and I will usually we'll get in touch, kind of talk things over. They give us the cards a little bit early. We go over the cards, and then the day of, we go to each contestant with our cards to make sure that everything we have on the cards is correct. So that's, what we did last year. That's what we did this year. Hey, what's up, Matt? Matt is our backstage photographer for these. And then, of course, we kind of go through, and you might think everything is like on the fly when we talk on stage. But we kind of prep ourselves first. Like, no ad lib is a real ad lib. We kind of go like, hey, I want to say this, and then you can say that. And we're like, okay. And then we'll go on and say it. So we do prepare a little bit. But Chris and I work really, really well together that sometimes we don't even really need to prepare too much. So then, so while they're doing pre-judging, do you want to talk about anything about the judging experience before the show starts, Sam?
Yeah, so you can see how many entrants. I mean, you've already seen. I've been scrolling through, and you can see how many people participate in the masquerade. I think there were 48 unique entries this year. Some were groups, some were solos, some were pairs, and there's definitely quite a few individuals attending and participating in the masquerade. And I will say that, like, prior to competing, we get, usually it's 2 weeks to a month prior, we get a list of every contestant, and sometimes people drop out, so the day of we scratch some names off. It happens, but you're required to send a Google Drive or some kind of format that we can review all of the evidence of your creation, because fan fusion is a traditional masquerade, so the masquerade requires 80% completion. Now, if you're close to that, if you're at 70 or 75, usually it's okay. It's close enough. We're not going to be as nitpicky. But if you get lower than that, I will warn you, it does affect your judging process. There are most of the time, conventions, if you're 50% or more made, will allow you to compete, but it will affect your score. And that did happen quite frequently here, where individuals thought that they were at the 80%, but the more they speak, the more I realized, no, like, so much of this is like not handmade. And so it was one of those things we really want to consider.
Sorry, I was just saying, when you set that as the bar, that's where you have to grade everyone at.
Yeah, and that's
if
only
they're not
one
at the
portion.
bar,
That's
then
only one step out of
yeah.
6 of the
Out of
judging
6, yeah.
process. So it's not, it's, it's a sixth of your score, so it's significant, but not enough to where if you did everything else, you might be okay. So what we're looking at usually when we're scoring is we are typically looking at the accuracy of the character referenced. We're looking at the appearance of the costume or the makeup. We're looking at the types of skills used, and we're looking at the types of techniques used. Because if you have a foam build that's amazing and complicated, but you only worked with foam and that's it, it will potentially lower your score compared to someone who did foam and silicone and resin and sewed all of their own garments, right? So think about the number of elements that you're including, especially if you have a costume that's very simple. You'll want to add maybe more embroidery, more gem making, something that you're making your own wig, something that'll help up it a little bit, because the simpler the costume, the more techniques you probably will need to deploy. But it took me over 10 hours of prejudging to get through all 47 applicants. And then the day of, each of them still got 2 minutes. And then we still had to go through and watch their stage performances, because that's the final score. And we can't score them on stage performance. Before the convention, we have a general idea. We probably have a list of 20 people who could fit the awards that we know we have to assign. After the performance, that actually changed a lot for us this year. There were some people that we were like, whoa.
Some people really brought it.
Like, their performance,
a lot of people really brought it.
Yeah. And so that's why you have to be kind of flexible, where you did your prejudging, you did your pre-scoring, but sometimes you go into that judging space afterwards, you go, okay, look, I really, really liked this person. I thought we were going to place them, but that person on stage, holy crap. So then you have to figure out what at that point is going to be weighed more.
Right.
We usually have it broken up into, it's usually 20% per thing. And we typically, in moments where numbers are too even, that's where it becomes, okay, well, nitpicky. All right, so both of these people scored 24 out of 25. Both these people had amazing performances. Both these people made over 80% of their cosplay. What can we do? Is it someone we could bump them up? Could we bump them up to another rank? Would that be fair to the other people in that score if we bumped them up to the other rank? If we can't bump them,
which did happen,
we start nitpicking. How did their seams look? How did their makeup look? How did their hair look? And that's unfortunately how nitpicky you have to get. The scores are so close.
Right. A couple comments. I think we said hi to George. George says, well, hello, Allison. I need to put seeing y'all at your booths and getting pics much higher on my comm priorities. I miss photos with all of you. I know that's why sometimes if I have my phone, I'm like selfie. Like if I have it in my hand, selfie. Fabio says, hi, ladies and Matt. Hi, Fabio. Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that's really important as a contestant in a cosplay competition, if you really want to take this seriously, is you can ask the judges if they'd like to give you feedback. They don't have to. They don't have to. But, if you're willing to hear it, and if even if it's not good, like it might not be good, but it's constructive. Get that feedback from the judges to see where are the things that they look at that can take you to the next level or take you a couple points higher. Some people, when they don't get a prize or an award, they're like, oh, I must have sucked, but sometimes it's like a point or two.
Well, and this is the thing, most conventions you only get first, second, and third, and novice, journeyman, and then masters. So that's only 9 awards, right? And then you have a best in the show for one, usually best of show individual, and typically best of show group, right? So if you're only allowed to give 10 to 11 awards and you have 50 applicants or more,
it's hard.
It makes your guys' job really hard.
Really, less than a fifth of the people applying are going to even win anything. So you have to go in there expecting to not win anything. You have to go in there doing it for yourself. Just happy with the costume or character that you've selected.
And to kind of jump off of what Jinx was saying, definitely, maybe not even, you don't have to do it that day, that moment right after. Like maybe give yourself some breathing time, some reflection time. You might even be emotional at the time, so you might not be in the right headspace to take criticism. And know that you're asking for that. You might not like what you hear, but they are going to tell you, in the nicest way they can. They're not going to be like, well, this is bad and that's bad. But they're going to be like, hey, maybe notice these things next time, or work on your hem and your bias, or, work on those lines, things like that. But just make sure you're always in a good headspace and frame space for that feedback as well. Because people definitely want that feedback if they do want to continue on in the masquerade process. So never let it defeat you. Just always figure out what you can work on better for next time.
And I just had to share this picture because I'm like, what was I saying at this moment? I'm like, ooh. But yeah, no, hosting on stage is always so much fun with Chris. And for us too, like,
yeah, you guys did great.
Yeah, we can see. So a lot of times when we're not on stage, and people don't realize this, when we're not on stage, what are we doing? Because people's skits are usually like a minute or less, some are longer. But we're usually, what I do when I get off stage is like we pass out the card, we get a new card. So we only have one card at a time, is who we're announcing. And then Chris and I go over the card, see if there's anything we need to change, any other last minute things. If we have time, we can watch the screen because we can see the projector screen just backwards. Sometimes we watch it and we get to see some of the fun stuff, but we don't always get to. So we always need to make sure that we're on it. And then if there's any time that we need to stall or get back on stage, usually we let the contestant do what they need to do. Even if there's some technical difficulties, we don't always jump in because that might surprise them even further, because they might be already like anxiety filled and something goes wrong and whatever. So we don't usually jump in unless we really need to. This was when Sunset and Meteor showed up. And I'm glad because Matt was like, why is Jinx so confused or something? You said like, what's going on? So I was like, I'm glad that came across because I was supposed to be confused. Yeah, that was cute though. So just a lot of fun things that goes on in the masquerade that sometimes we just got to be ready for it. And we do,
like, sometimes you have, like, we had an instance where they were struggling with getting the lights to come up for one of the larger groups, and it happens sometimes, but that group just kept going. They went with the audio, they kept moving, and that's what you have to do sometimes. You just have to move through it because there's still low lighting in the gallery, so we can still see you. And a lot of people have figured that out. But if you've never competed in a masquerade before and you get on stage and there's no lights or there's no music, or the lights come up but the music doesn't start, something happens, just keep going through the motion. And then if your music does start, you can start right over and just start from the beginning and do it again. But I always recommend just start. Like, just one of the contestants had the wrong music play because their music file corrupted. But they just went through it. They acted out. They played with that music like it belonged to them. They made it funny. At first, I thought it was just a funny skit of them pretending to be confused. And then later on, they told us, nope, that was the wrong music. So it was really good. But that's what we always recommend. If something goes wrong, don't let us know that it went wrong.
We have a comment from Twitch. Last Samurai 319. I was beyond surprised when I got a judges award at Game On Expo last year, and seeing the turnout for the masquerade at Sabo last year, I can understand how hard selection process is. Also, hi Thermo and Jinx from Samurai and Hellcat. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. Yeah, so the couple that had the wrong music, they went with it. That is exactly what you need to do when things go wrong, is just keep going. The worst thing you can do is just freeze on stage, right?
Freezing on stage lets us know that something is wrong, and
Mhm.
then it makes us anxious with you, and sometimes it makes us hard to get back into whatever it was we were supposed to be focusing on.
Absolutely. So it's hard for, I know
I was dancing. I see one photo where I'm like,
this was all of the contestants. I love that background they have back there.
beautiful.
So I'm not trying to like brag or anything because I don't like to enter contests. Like I don't like to enter costume contests. And there was only
And that's
one.
not, also that's not all the contestants because 7 of the Warhammer group had already left.
Yeah, and
they would not have fit on the stage with all those people.
So I've only entered a contest once where we didn't get a prize. That was Sabo. And I know why. It's because they like dancing and they like stuff at Sabo. So I wasn't upset. And I guess every other costume contest I've entered, I've gotten something. So I'm not trying to brag, but I've
entered Sabo like 5 times now and never placed.
Yeah, I've done like pageants and I haven't placed, and I totally understand what it feels like after.
Yeah.
That feeling of not getting announced.
I started cosplaying in 2014 and I've been competing since then too. And I'd say I've probably competed at least 4 or 5 times a year. So if you put that 5 times, almost 10 years now.
That's when I met you. You were Than Krios at Tucson.
And I've only won 7 awards. And only 3 of those are craftsmen.
Mm-hmm.
One's journeyman craftsman, the other 2 are novice craftsmen. So
it's kind of a punch in the gut, like when you don't get announced. But don't feel discouraged. I really encourage all of you to, if the judges are welcome it, you can reach out to them and get feedback. I mean, don't harass judges. Like it's never one judge's like decision or whatever. It's usually the team, and it has a lot more things to do.
That's why we have 5 of us, because every one of us had like Choco has incredible sewing experience, and so does Heartless Aquarius. Amber Skies has tons of awards and sponsorships that she's gone through, and she's got a wide range of costume knowledge. She's worked for like Disney and Marvel and stuff like that. Sparkinson has a whole different perspective on upcycling and thrifting and using common materials to make something fantastic. And then I'm just kind of all over the place.
And there was only 3 judges originally, so I'm glad it was, expanded into 5, definitely.
Definitely, and if you're a competitor, look at all your other competitors. I know some people, they want to enter a costume that means a lot to them because of one reason or another, and that might work for certain contests. But other contests, maybe it's more of a wow factor, or how does it look on stage versus
pay attention to the rules. That's a big thing. I always say if you're going to a convention. So for instance, say you were going to Fan Fusion and you wanted to compete, the only day that you could just walk in and sign up for a contest was going to be the costume contest they did on Friday, which is, I think it's very smart that they did that for people who, because the masquerade, you had to have everything submitted by the end of March. They might be changing that to the end of April, but it depends. It's up to the convention's prerogative. A lot of them, you have to have everything submitted 2 to 3 months, sometimes even 4 months prior. Like I've just applied for Salt Lake FanX for their masquerade, and applications opened June 1st, and they are already full, but they've got room for opening, so they keep letting people apply, because their application process, you have to create an account, you have to submit your audio, you have to submit your work in progress, you have to submit a photo of yourself, descriptions. Like it is intense. While other cons, you just walk in and sign up. So masquerades are the ones that usually require 75 to 80% and are a lot more arduous, whereas costume contests typically are a bit more flexible.
Yeah, a couple more comments here. Hannah says, are you guys judging any other contests this year? Me personally, no. I prefer not to. I don't know if Thermo's allowed to. Thermo says yes. So
I'm judging 3 more contests this year.
Will we be involved in contests? Yes, I definitely will be involved in some more contests. But I guess that's as far as we can say. Fabio says, I heard a lot of people left early. I couldn't go, but what happened? That's just normal.
So the masquerade starts at 8 p.m. and it's finished by 11:30 p.m. When you have almost 50 entries and you give them anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes on stage, that's what happens. Like it's really long. I know a lot of people like 5-10 minutes late, and that was just because all of the judges really wanted to pee.
And I can understand why people like complain when it's so late. I get both sides of it 100%. But because I'm coming from the internal side of it, seeing like how long prejudging takes, it makes sense. So, but also, yeah, it goes, and I think that 3 hours, I think, is pretty standard. We had 50 contestants
with the halftime show as well,
and a
judging.
halftime show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fabio gave a thumbs up. Samurai Hellcat Heart, hello, from Twitch. Last Samurai, I'm just excited to see you all again in the near future, whether participating in a contest or not. Thank you so much.
So real quick, we'll go over Sunday. We might go a little bit over the stream
Oh,
today, but
yeah.
real quick, I want to talk about Sunday. So Sunday was really simple. Sunday was the youth costume contest. I actually can open up some pictures because Fabio took some pictures of the youth costume contest.
Oh yeah, we had a panel during your contest, so we.
Yes, let me open it because Fabio took pictures. Thanks, Fabio.
Thanks, Fabio.
And then Samurai Hellcat, hi Thermo and Jinx, miss you both in your hugs. Oh, we'll be at the next Game On Expo. Come see us there.
Wait,
so we did.
Yeah, you're gonna share those, and then when you're done, stop sharing, and then I can show the. Oh, you does it?
So demanding. Stop sharing.
You just want to. I said when you're done sharing. Okay, fine. I'm gonna share my screen now. So Fabio, this is actually like my family. My family did like the sing group and stuff like that. And we also did
Friday or Saturday.
That was Saturday. And then on Sunday we did the Encanto. But yeah, where is the? Oh yeah, here's the kids masquerade or the kids costume contest. So we have Amber Skies, Thermo Sidekick, and Thermo Cosplay myself, and they're just.
Lena was there right before.
These are my like. Well, that's my niece, and then that's I guess my cousin's daughter. I don't know how to.
It's your second cousin or your third cousin.
Oh, and the background is Garrick from the NAR and his baby Grogu, who is literally in a floating pod.
I saw that. It was adorable.
Yeah, but these were all like almost all the kids. A couple of them did run away because they were teenagers and they were too cool to stay after they walked on stage.
Oh,
that Doc Ock is so cool.
But it was just so cute. Like there were so many of them, and I always love like hosting the kids costume contest.
I had fun with it last year too because it was you and me last year as Raven and Beast Boy. That was fun.
The kids one is important, I think, just because you're.
Oh, I can't show the next photo. It's inappropriate.
Oh,
Sam, you're gonna get us banned from YouTube.
Oh, I thought.
I don't want to get us banned from YouTube, so I'm just gonna roll past that last photo. We'll have to see.
It's important to do like the kids one too, because they're like the future cosplayers. You know, you want to keep the generations enjoying costuming, so we can continue Cos Talk Live for 20 years.
A couple more comments. Samurai Hellcat. We'll be there working on something special for Umbrella. Ooh, Last Samurai. Mwahaha. Fabio's, I missed some of it. Yeah, so there's so much going on at Phoenix. That's why I was like...
Sunday is actually the big family day. Mm-hmm. So most conventions, Sunday is the day where they do all the family and kids programming. Yeah. And oh my gosh, there was so much. Like it was, I swear every hour there was something at the Science Center, something at the art station. There was the kids costume contest. There was just so much going on for kids. So if you're a family and you want to attend a convention, but you're worried about like your young ones having a fun time, maybe like the big days you have them babysat, but on Sunday always tons of family stuff, and so I feel like there'd be plenty of stuff for them to be interested.
Yeah,
and it's a shorter day. Most of the last day of a con's usually shorter.
It's like 10 to 5 typically.
Mm-hmm. So if it's either the last day of cons are usually either Sundays or Mondays. Mondays are typically only if it's like a holiday, but those are usually the days the last day of a convention when they do all the family and kids material. I mean, the rest of the con they do have some, but not as much as the last day.
So we did Encanto group, and I was Dolores. Oh my god, I love being Dolores.
Yeah, you looked great.
I was like, I feel so cute. Sam was Luisa. Thermo's sidekick was Peppa, and then her family filled in the rest. So mostly it was like the three of us hanging around on the floor, and we were that was my most popular costume of the whole weekend. Didn't matter.
And we literally were on the floor for like maybe 30 minutes just to grab the stuff we needed and then run back to the booth.
Yeah, like I bought my big cloud sword and I was carrying it, but it's like everybody stopped us. Adults and kids. This guy's like, look who's on my screensaver on my phone. It was Dolores.
It was Dolores, yeah.
And it's like I wore the most clothes that day. You know, I was the most wholesome, and it was the most popular. Like Ada, I was like, you know, sexy, and then like Morgan, I had boobs out. You know, it's like,
but then again, Dolores. Like Sam said, Sunday's the family day, so you were a Disney character. So go figure.
True.
Very
right, because if we hadn't done Encanto, I probably would have done one of my other Disney characters that was more family friendly because I was doing the kids costume contest.
Also, Sunday's more the chill day, especially for us that like cosplay heavily a lot. Usually we like to take it easier on Sunday.
Yeah, that was the first day that weekend that I was not wearing sleeves and many layers, because this is a full like leather, fully lined canvas leather, like, and like polyester. It's just got lots
You
of
look
layers.
so good in it though.
Oh, that's it, but it's got lots of layers. And then I was wearing a shirt underneath to collect the sweat, because I don't want too much sweat to be on the actual jacket itself, especially since this can only be like dry cleaned. And we can talk before we end. I'll show you guys the 2 tools you should have if you can't wash your costumes after a convention.
Yeah, but I was looking forward to wearing this costume because it was so comfortable.
Yeah, it was crazy being Louisa going, oh, I got to wear some tennis shoes, even though that's not the shoes she normally wears. The last day I tried to keep my feet okay. Tennis shoes and just a dress it was just the wig that by the end of the day I needed to take off and put a hat on. But overall,
my feet had hurt so much, especially wearing 4-inch heels all night from the masquerade, that even though those espadrilles were only like an inch like heel, I took them off and I swapped to my sneakers. A couple more comments here. Last Samurai says, what we call parenting done right. Yes, absolutely. Hannah says, Encanto is live. Samurai, you look amazing, Thermo. And Trish, I would have loved for the whole Encanto group to have walked around together. Yes, true, but we had so many things going
Sunday
on.
was busy,
yeah, because it was like right after our shoot. She had to go back to her booth and get ready for the panel. I had to go straight to the kids area and start creating cards to get signups. And then after signups, it was another hour and a half of having them walk the stage. Then, because there were 25 of them, we had to create separate prize packages for them. So I'm in the back while Amber Skies is bringing the kids who came late and letting them walk on the stage. And so it was one of those things that by the time I got out of there, I think I made it back down to the exhibitor space around, like, I want to say 3.
Yeah,
and we just ran to go get some things, and we were back by 3:30, and I stayed there the whole time because I spent 3.5, 4 hours of my day in that costume contest area.
Right. And then we had to eat, right? And then Lena and I were on a mission. So we actually did find what we wanted to buy. And they were like, okay.
In less than 30 minutes. It was impressive.
And then we were like, I don't really want to look around anymore. She's like, okay, let's go back to the booth. And then I was at the booth for the rest of the day. And
just needed foam clay and a silicone mold. She just needed a cloud sword. And Lena just needed a samurai sword.
She got the same sword you did, Matt.
Yeah, for Peach. Yeah.
Yeah, because
she used for Peach, but it was Demon Slayer Mitsuri's, yeah.
But she wanted a foam one, and I got
I need to get a foam one. So I have both versions.
Allison said,
I will say, since we're pretty much out of time, if you are at a convention and you can't machine wash, like, this is the only part of the costume I can't machine wash. The pants I could machine wash and just tumble dry on low, and it was fine. My Safina, the underdress I can machine wash, but the overdress I can't because it has buckram in it for support, and the boning also can be affected by the machine wash as well. And then Louisa was fine, but the 2 things I recommend to make your life easier, if you get like makeup stains or other things on it, upholstery wipes. Because these are meant for keeping your couches and other things safe, so they don't have anything in there that's going to stain. I got all the makeup off my hood from my cap.
Yeah, and you really didn't have that much on there. You sealed that cap.
Well, and it got most of the makeup off of my collar from Louisa, because like I had a problem. We had a problem with the zipper getting stuck. And then I also recommend for disinfecting is the Lysol fabric spray. So you can use Audubon as well, but the Lysol fabric spray. So Audubon, if you spray it, is a fabric disinfectant, and they've got eucalyptus and lavender, and then I think they have just a plain like odorless one as well. You spray it on one side and you spray on the other side. It has to hang for 24 hours. Then you have to flip it inside out, do the same thing, hang for 24 hours. This only takes a 2-hour dry time.
Also,
and it does the same thing, and it comes out crisper and fresher like it did come just out of the dryer.
Also, like, if you are in a sweaty place like we are, make sure that you air out your clothes first thing as soon as you take them off.
That's what I did. I had them hanging up, aired out the day of. I also, I know it makes most people warmer, I wear undershirts. Usually the body sweat wicking ones, but I always wear undershirts on things to help absorb more of the sweat so that it doesn't make contact with my clothing.
Right. And let me read this last comment. Allison says, oh my God, my little nephew was so excited to be Spider-Man this year. Because his bodysuit didn't have hand exits, he had to bring a change of clothes to eat lunch. He chose a second costume. So my brother had a great idea to bring plastic gloves. So maybe next time you could just put plastic gloves on them to eat. And Fabio says, so Sam is going to Utah Fan X, as you know. If she likes it, would you guys go? Trish and I loved it. I'm just trying to take it easy this year, not do too much traveling. I've got a lot of other adult things that are going on that I have to deal with first. But maybe. So we're going to
I
wrap
would
it
love
up.
to go.
We do have a couple of announcements. So if you guys have seen the Uwu Nights on July 8th and you read Cost Swap, yes, we
I
are
will have
doing
it posted by the end of the day today
Mhm.
on the
yeah, so
website.
it will all be indoors. If you went to Uwu last year, it's in Hall C where all the signatures were, and they had the rave there. That's where we're going to be. And then Cost Swap's going to have its own little corridor, but it'll be open to all. It's a free event. It closes. It's from 12 to 8, and it closes at 8. And then at 9 o'clock, they have a ticketed rave in the arcade.
And it will be indoors, so you don't have to.
All indoors.
And I believe that tickets are $15.
Yes. So if you're interested in if you have done Cost Swap in the past, check your email because I did email you. I know it was last night. But if you are a new vendor, you can fill out the application and join us for Cost Swap. So yes, we are affiliated with the Uwu Nights. That is CTL's Cost Swap. They did not steal it from us. It's ours. So that's my announcement.
My announcement is I am officially a contracted guest for the PentiCon in October, and the week before UwuCon, I will be attending the PentiCon.
I'm probably gonna murder Sam.
Hmm?
I'm probably gonna murder you 1 week before Uwu, but hey, it's fine.
That's all right. You got
them
backup.
already.
You're
They
good.
know.
We're here.
We just need to make sure we have everything done before Uwu. But
So I'm posting the link and all of the. So I'm posting the link so people can see it. But the PentiCon, I'll be attending that, so I will be a judge there. So we talked about being a judge. Also, I'll be going to Game On Expo Saturday and Sunday, and I might be a judge there. We're still trying to figure things out. And I just got asked to potentially be a judge for something in Tombstone, so I'll keep you abreast of that if that happens at the end of July.
Yeah. So Cost Talk is going to be a guest at Game On, so you'll see us there just like you did last year. And then Uwu, of course, we will be having a lot more going on for Uwu.
Yeah, Uwu's, and then we're we're working on programming and cosplay, and we should have a lot of the forms up by the end of the month.
Yes. We just got so swamped with Phoenix. And then also there are changes happening to Cost Talk Live. Nothing bad. We will be changing our time slot, but I think through the end of June, we'll keep it at this time slot. I think that.
But in July, we might change the.
In July, we're going to
the time and the day, or just the time.
I think time. I
think it was just the time. Yeah, I think we were sticking with Sunday because everybody was available on Sunday. We were just changing it to like a later time,
a later showing. Yeah.
Yeah. So just keep an eye out for those changes. And then other than that, we've just going to be taking it easy this summer. I personally have a lot of stuff going on, and plus it's hot. Unless it's indoors, I don't want to do it. So Uwu Nights will be indoors. We hope to see you guys all there. And I think that's it. If you guys have any other questions, you're always free to email us, costtalklive@gmail.com, or PM us on any of the socials. Usually Sam and I have access to those. I think Chibi does too. And a couple more comments. Let's see. Sam always being pulled everywhere. Yep. And then Hannah says, we're vending for Game On, applied for a guest spot at Uwu. Hope to see you at both. You probably will. So yeah. And then guys, if you were at our cosplayer safety panel, we'd love to hear your feedback. Mm-hmm. We're definitely going to be honing that presentation and bringing it more places. I don't necessarily always want to do a panel. I'd like to turn it into something else that people can like hold on to and pass around. Something that like cosplay is not consent. They have the flyer, the big banners and stuff. So I definitely want to take it further. If you guys have any suggestions on anything, we'd love to hear it. I am Jinx Cosplay. You can find me at find me at jinxcosplay.com, and I'm on socials at the Jinx Cosplay. And what about Thermo?
I'm pulling up your website and I'm going to share it so people can find you.
Okay.
I am Thermo Cosplay, and you can find me and all of my socials and everything else at thermocosplay.com.
And Insomnimat has changed. You should probably put your name as it shows on your socials so that people can see it. I don't know.
Right.
Just because.
Yeah, I recently rebranded just to incorporate. I'm going to be taking a lot more photos, so it's not just cosplay anymore. It's
actually, I think I can change it for you.
Stuff.
There we go.
You took control. Thank you.
I took control.
Yeah.
So
you can find me on there.
Insomnia.mat. Yes. And Cost Talk Live, our website is costtalk-live.com. We will be streaming still every Sunday. Like I said, in July, the time will be changing. Keep an eye out
Yeah,
for
and
it.
at the end of this month, the website's going to have some updates based on like host changes, time changes, events. We'll be making some updates to it.
Yeah. And then keep an eye out. We will be live next Sunday. This coming Sunday with a guest, I believe. We'll finalize those details. Psyduck is not a guest because he probably will destroy everything.
Psyduck wants to be a guest.
Yeah. No Psyduck. No. Only when you're golden.
Also on Sunday, July 9th, whatever our stream is, Matt and I will actually be at Mad Monster. So we'll probably be streaming live from Mad Monster. So we'll join you guys, but we'll be at a convention and we can just show you guys some horror stuff. So
super excited about that. I wanted to go. So thanks for initiating that.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much. Be sure to check out our partners, AZ Hive, NAR, Costume and Props. They are awesome people. Cosplay Company, you know,
UwuCon as well.
UwuCon, all those other plugs that now we got to give out, which is awesome.
No, we got to make a list.
Yeah.
UwuCon, the PintyCon. We're just, you know what? I'll just put the list. You know, I'm gonna put it on the website.
Put it on the website. All the groups that we're affiliated with.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day. Rest up. Stay cool out there. Bye.
Bye, everyone.